We've been talking about the importance of identifying your target market. And now this module, in Module 3, we're going to do that. But first, I want you to know why identifying your target market is important. If we don't identify your target market, you won't be able to learn how to talk to them. You can't sell to everybody. That just doesn't work, because if you try to sell to everybody, you'll never be able to speak to them in a way that you can call them to you. And let me give you an example. I had a client once who met me when I was on ESPN, and she went first and she talked all about her program. And then I went after her, and I'm perfectly fine going second, because when you go second, that's the lasting impression. And people kind of forget what the person said in the beginning. So going second is really important, and I was perfectly fine with it. And she listened to me as I spoke. And when I was done, it was obvious that I had spoken a language that she heard and understood, because she said, "I really need you. And here's why. I've been putting large groups of people in rooms and teaching them what I know, but the problem is nobody ever buys. And I don't know why. And I didn't know why, but now I do. Now I understand. It's because I was trying to sell to everyone, and you can't sell to everyone. You made that very clear. And I realize now that I have to decide on who I'm working with. And the challenge I have is that one side of it is all corporate and the other side is entrepreneurs. And I've been putting both in the same room and walking away with absolutely nothing. And unfortunately, it's gotten to be kind of an expensive learning experience. So what do you suggest I do? She asked. I told her that she had to have only one group of people in a room and then speak a language that they would understand, just like I did when I was on the microphone and she was listening to me. She suddenly knew that I was who she needed for her next step in business. If you define your target market, then you can talk to them, find out what their needs are, and how to speak to them from the stage. You learn how to do this, then you don't have to worry about finding your clients. You don't have to worry about constantly looking for clients, because just the words that come out of your mouth draw them to you. Then you can have the next conversation. But if you don't know the words, you can stand on stage, and I don't know how many times I've seen this happen, where people stand on stage, then they walk off and they never get a sale of any kind. It's because the people that would be their clients that are sitting in the audience are so bored, and they're looking out the window, they're texting on their phone and whispering to the person sitting next to them. They're not paying attention, and it's all because the person on the stage isn't speaking a language that they are listening for. They would perk up if you use their words and phrases. And that's what I teach you how to do. This is why it's important to narrow down your target market, because then you can use those specific words and phrases. If you speak to everyone, it's like a blanket and no one hears you, and you never get any business. If you look at page 7, one of the things that I said is it's impossible to figure out how everyone thinks. You don't know what their interests are. You don't know where they'd like to vacation, what kind of car they drive. And these are all important things when you're giving a speech. If you know your people drive a Volvo because they believe it's safe, you can stand on the stage and say, "This is really safe. You know how it is when you own a Volvo. You're going to be completely protected." Well, this is going to protect you as well. Not only that, but your programs may have content you enjoy teaching, but if it's not conducive to everyone, you'll never get a sale. So you want to make sure that your programs are perfect for the target market that you decide on. If you don't know who your target market is, how will you know where to market? you'll have no idea, and you'll end up spending a lot of money you didn't need to spend. So working with everyone won't do. So here's the bottom line. Defining your target market in a way that you can connect with viable clients will save time, money, and the frustration of running from one networking group to the next with no sales results. So now I'd like to tell you a few things about how to decide on your target market. Let's talk about age. A lot of people say to me, oh, I really want to work with the young people between 20 and 35. Well, there's a bit of a problem working with young people like that because they are starting out their families. They're paying for shoes, they're paying for food and clothes and school supplies. And not only that, they're probably saving in their 401k, and they're also trying to pay off their college student loans. They've got a lot of money that they're paying out and no disposable income, meaning no extra money to pay for any programs. Now, if you look at people from 35 to say 40 or 42, somewhere in there, they're saving for their kids' college, and they're also trying to save for their retirement and probably paying a good sized mortgage on top of it. So they have very little disposable income as well. When they get up from 45 to 55, they have more disposable income. Yes, they're still saving for their retirement, but they may not be paying for their kids' college anymore. They may have gotten them through it. So they may have some extra money. So it depends on what it is that you do to support the people at that age. But to be honest, 45 and older is a pretty safe bet that they're going to have money to spend. Now, I want to talk to you briefly about millennials. Here's a map that shows you about millennials. Some people say, oh, I so want to sell to millennials. I really want to work with millennials. I adore them because they're all about friends and family. And it's not all just about work. They love being who they are and surrounded with those they care about. But the problem is with millennials that very few are living on their own. And if you look at this map, look at the income that they make every year. It's not much. So they're not going to have any disposable income. Really take a look at this because I want you to see that all over the United States, they make in the 20,000s and not much more. So those aren't going to be the people that you want to pinpoint in your target market. You want people that are 45 or older because they have the money to spend on additional programs and things that they want to do with their life. And it's also when they start to improve their lives and build on who they are as an individual. So they're a perfect fit. If you figured out what age range is best for your target market, write it down. Your next step is to decide, are you going to work with men or women? You know already that men and women speak a very different language, so you have to think about who you actually want to work with. If you decide, oh, I only want to work with men, it doesn't mean that you can't work with women. It just means that you are focusing your marketing on men, but there's always women that want to be involved. And same way with working with women. You can specialize at working with women and speak a language that women understand, but men are going to come along and you can choose to work with them or not based on whatever your program is. So think about which way you want to go. You are going to identify your perfect client. This doesn't mean a group of people in a specific age range or all men or all women. You're going to think of just one person. So you can't say, how old is this person? Oh, this person's between 45 and 55. No. How old is this person? Is this person 45, 55, 42? And is the person single or married? So each one of these questions on here are intended for you to define a specific person and to have a specific person in your mind. Thinking about only one person makes it so much easier for you to define who you want to work with. And when you get to the bottom of the second page, you're going to get to name this person. I leave it to you now to go ahead and start working on who your perfect client is.